Hello, everybody. Pat Hand at Dancing Moon Travel, coming to you with an episode of Let's Talk Travel. Now, it's been several weeks since anybody's heard from me on this format, and that's for good reason. I have been a little bit busy given our situation, actually pretty much undoing everything that I have done for the past 6 months. But things are slowing down. I've pretty much dealt with all of the issues that getting cancellations in place. Now working actually a little bit on getting some of my clients beginning to rebook and use some of those great future cruise credits that they have been provided through the cruise lines and the land tour providers. So people are beginning to stir a little bit and look toward the future, beginning to plan some upcoming trips. You know, people, this industry is going to snap back. People love to travel. People are going to travel. But there are going to be some changes on the horizon. Given our situation, it is just unimaginable that things will go back to business as usual right away. It may come to pass eventually, but we are going to have some interim steps before we get completely back to what is normal. And some things may have permanent changes that are going to take place in the long haul. But for right now, I want to do a little forecast. I've been reading a lot, listening to webinars and so forth, just trying to listen to some of the gurus of the travel industry and what they predict and what they believe is going to happen. And so I wanted to share with you some of the major things that I have gleaned as I have listened and tuned in for a lot of the big names and what they think we are facing. One of the first things that is anticipated is that guest capacity is going to be reduced, whether you're sailing on a cruise ship or whether you're staying at a resort. Most of us, we're accustomed to sailing on full ships that hold maybe 4,000 people. We expect, as things move forward, initially at least, that they are going to significantly reduce guest capacity, whether on ships or by land at resorts and so forth. Ships that normally might have 3,000 people sailing might be reduced to 2,500, 2,200 people at max on board. And so that's one of the things that we really anticipate seeing right off the bat is that there won't be so many people on board. A lot are saying that they expect an uptick in solo travel and more cruise lines and resorts recognizing that the single travelers are kind of an untapped resource out there, and so you may see more of them making more space available, being much more friendly toward the solo traveler, maybe even reducing or eliminating those single supplements that you guys have been stuck with for so many years. So that would be a great thing for our solo travelers. Obviously, we are going to be seeing greatly enhanced passenger screening. Health screenings are probably, just expect it, folks. It's going to happen. Whether you're getting on an aircraft or boarding a cruise ship or whatever, you're going to see very much enhanced passenger screening. You're not just going to be able to scribble your answers on that little quarter sheet of paper and say, no, I'm fine, I'm healthy. I expect that we're going to see people monitoring temperatures and getting right to it with really significantly looking at people and seeing whether they are running any fevers, if there's any condition that they think might affect the well-being and health of others on that cruise ship, passengers and staff and so forth. So be prepared for that, expected. Online with that, there may be, and I don't particularly care for this one myself all that much, but they may have some stricter boarding policies. So these will apply, I think, primarily to those of us over a certain age, maybe passengers over the age of 60 or 70, whatever they decide. Don't have any idea what that's going to be as far as the cutoff goes. But chances are pretty good that at some point you are going to have, if you're over a certain age, have a doctor verify that you are fit to travel. It will, it's just going to be something that somebody's going to have to say that you're okay to be on that ship, that you're healthy enough to travel. Another thing that we expect to see, and this is almost certainly going to come to pass, is kind of a no-brainer. We're going to see a lot less self-service on board the ships. The buffet line, expect to be served. So if they're not going to limit capacity, so don't get all upset about that. But they are going to have to delegate more staff to those buffet lines and have somebody actually serve you. I think things like when you see condiments, salt, pepper, mustard, ketchup, I think we're going to see those coming in packets rather than shakers and dispensers on the table. They are not going to want passengers handling things one to the next. They're going to want to, for good reason, limit the number of hands on those utensils. One thing we're already seeing on some of the new ships are the hand washing stations as you go into the buffets and so forth. They are insisting that you wash your hands before approaching the dining areas, and that is also a good thing. So we just expect that we're going to see more of that sort of thing, even more hand sanitizers out. They're going to be everywhere on board the ships and at the resorts. Use them. We're going to see a lot of things like expanded medical centers on the ships. If you've ever been down there, they're tight, they're small. They're not really equipped to have many patients. I think we're going to see a lot of expanded medical centers, more medical personnel on board the ship. Definitely is called for. I think instead of, a lot of times you'll have one physician and maybe one or two nurses on board. I think you're going to see that at least doubled on many of the ships. On some of the larger ships, you may see even more. It's going to be a lot, people. There's going to be things like at the resorts and the entertainment. They're going to want to spread people out more. They're going to want to clean more thoroughly between shows. So instead of having those shows back to back, there may be a time lapse so they could come in and more thoroughly clean, your armrests, the tabletops, drink holders and things like that. So probably a lot of that is going to happen. They're going to have to do all of those things. And so what is this all going to mean, bottom line, for travelers? I think the reduced capacity is going to be a big deal. Right now, we're beginning to see huge sales, great values out there for people who are ready to book. So that's one thing that we're going to immediately see. Cruise lines, resorts, everybody needs to get people out and traveling again. They're going to offer all kinds of incentives. So expect to be able to snag a deal, at least in the near future, because they are going to want to get people to deposit on new bookings. It's essential to their ability to continue their business, obviously. So now is a great time, and in the upcoming next few weeks is a great time to start thinking about what kind of trip you're looking for, and to maybe even get deposited, because the reduced capacity is going to have a big effect on everything. I think in the long term, while that is in effect, we are going to see space is going to be a premium. We are going to have more people vying for less space, and eventually that is just inevitably going to lead to higher fares and unavailability of space. So if you are looking to travel during peak travel periods, say next summer or into the fall, holidays for sure, those are times that you are definitely going to want to book way ahead of what may be your normal practice. No, don't even think about last minute bookings, because chances are there will not be space available in coming months. Now, initially, right now, there's plenty of space, it's adequate, but if you are looking to travel in, let's say, a year from now, in next April, and you decide to book that trip in February, chances are you're going to have a very difficult time finding space on your preferred ships and resorts and so forth. So plan to book early. Try to take advantage of the promotions and things that are out there. And then another thing that you're going to want to do is, and I have to take a little bit of this, if you do fall in one of the age categories where we might be a little more concerned about health issues, try to get it a little bit healthier now. Start now if you're planning to cruise next summer, and you will do well if you are in tip-top physical shape, as much so as possible. Now's a good time if you need to take off a few pounds to start that process. Get on board with a weight loss program, get some more exercise, just start to step it up a little bit, so your doctor is going to be more inclined to work with you and give you that all-important fit to travel letter that I expect that a lot of cruise lines and even maybe airlines are going to be asking for down the line. But anyway, that is it for now. I know this is kind of long and it's rambling a little bit, but I wanted to give you just a little summary of what I've gleaned from my from watching all of the various webinars that the industry has out there now. What I have gleaned from that, I wanted to share it, and just hopefully it will help you as you are planning for your next trips. And once things get past this, folks, it came to pass. We are going to get past this and get back to more of our usual lives. And until then, do stay in until the all clear, when they start letting us meet together again. And if you need inspiration, if you need help and advice, we're always here from you. Dancing Moon Travel has been here for you in the past. We are here. Our doors open. Phone is being answered. Happy to give you any insight and direction. If you want some inspiration for future trips, we're here for that too. We are travel advisors, consultants. We're not just agents. We don't just book trips and take orders. We offer meaningful advice and guidance along the way. We are here from you from the time of inspiration until you are safely home again. And so this is Pat at Dancing Moon Travel. We still choreograph dreams. Stay safe, everybody.